Hi guys, welcome to the channel. This is Radical Reviews. I'm Ryan Young, and today I'm going to be reviewing one of my own cars, the Mercedes C63 AMG. Now obviously you can see the car. This one in particular isn't totally stock, but I haven't gone too crazy with it. I've kept it clean looking. I've put wheels, a nice set of Savini black wheels on there, some Nitto Invo tires, a few carbon fiber components, but other than that, there's some exhaust modifications, but the car is still fairly stock. A lot of OEM stuff on it still, but it drives and handles amazing. Now looking at the back of the car, you can kind of see how I've kept the theme nice and clean. I've got the black carbon fiber lip spoiler, nothing too big, a nice small clean looking lip. I've got the rear carbon fiber black diffuser. I have actually painted the AMG badge green, just this part of it here, just to kind of accent that and make it a little bit different and stand out a little bit. Exhaust tips are totally stock. Most of the exhaust system is completely stock. I have actually added a custom H pipe setup at the back. I've changed it around a couple times. I had it custom built, and the sound that comes from it is absolutely amazing. It's raw, but at the same time it's nice and honed. It just has a great, amazing sound. Obviously I'm going to start this thing up for you guys a little bit. I'll give you some revs so you can kind of hear what I'm talking about. Now coming to the interior of this car is actually a pretty nice place to be. You've got these nice beautiful AMG thick power bolstered seats which snug you right in. They are fairly tight. If you're a fairly big person, that might be an issue for you. They do actually snug you in quite a bit at their tightest setting. I feel like if you're even a skeleton, you could drive this car. It also has a nice push button start, which can be popped out. If you want to use your key in place of that, you can. It's got this great thick steering wheel with all kinds of grips and places to grab. It has a flat bottom F1 styling to it, which I really like. Now these paddle shifters are nice and metal and click and engage fairly well. It has a black walnut trim, which actually I don't think there's a lot of trim options for this year car. I have never seen another one that isn't this kind of dark walnut finish to it. It seems like most all the C63s in this year have this walnut kind of finish. But with that being said, it's actually not too bad. It's not something that's hideous that I can't live with. I probably wouldn't pick it as my first choice, but it's not too bad. It has some accent lighting actually under the door handle area right here. It's not really much of anything. If you get right under there, you can actually kind of see it lighting up. Other than that, you don't really notice it too much. It also has some accent lighting that is added underneath the mirror area here, which adds a little bit of ambience to the car. Now, as far as technology with this car, there isn't really too much to go by. It doesn't even have a backup camera. It does have Bluetooth connectivity to your phone, but that is just for making phone calls. It isn't for audio. It has this center console control unit here, which actually will activate and control your screen. It isn't a touch screen, which I actually prefer. I'm not a big fan of the touch screens because you get fingerprints all over it, so I actually rather have this control module right here mounted. It's nice and convenient, so you can place your arm on this armrest while you're operating it. Other than that, like I said, this car doesn't have a ton of technology. It was pretty much built for one reason, which is to go fast. Now, I know I said the car doesn't have a ton of technology, but it does have some nice features that I like. In the dash, when you have the navigation, the screen actually links up with the speedometer area here. It gives you a GPS option on here for your navigation, so you can actually see what street you're driving, what direction you're traveling in, and even your navigation directions will actually show up on the screen yourself, so it's easier. You don't really have to look away when you're trying to find a location. So that kind of gives you an idea of the interior of the vehicle. I say we fire this baby up and take it for a drive. So the first thing you notice when you start driving this car is obviously the noise that it makes. It sounds awesome. I hope you guys are picking up some of the sounds on the lapel mic that I'm wearing. I know it's probably not the best for the sound, but A couple other things you'll start noticing with this car is the paddle shifting. It's kind of one of my pet peeves on the car. I think if you've seen any other reviews on this car, you've probably already heard that there's a bit of a delay with the paddle shifting. I mean, I love these paddle shifters, the way that they engage and how solid they feel, but it feels like there's about a 1 second delay between shifts on the car. So I pretty much find myself predicting a whole second before I'm shifting. So, like, I'll give you an example. It's almost a whole second. But with that being said, you also kind of you just adapt to it when you're driving with your driving style, and it's just one of those things you just get used to it. It's, you know, if you're trying to redline the car all the time, it's you know, a little bit more difficult to get it just bang on, right? But the manual shifting mode is still the fastest shift that the car gives. When you put it into just the sport drive mode or the comfort mode, the automatic modes, the car will shift itself, but it's not quite as fast, but it will shift right to redline. So it's a little bit better for that, but I prefer the manual shifting myself. I don't think I've ever really used comfort mode. Comfort mode starts the car in second gear off the line rather than in first gear, so it usually starts a little bit slower off the line, but still bang for the buck with this car. I mean, of course I'm only doing the speed limit, but it gets up there pretty fast. You know, for how much I paid for this car, it's exactly what I wanted. I wanted a car that I could just kind of use on the weekends and the nice days and go have some fun in and not worry too much about not spend a ton of money, and that's exactly what this car has given me. With some modifications, I mean, I didn't spend a ton of money on the H-pipes set up in the back. To be honest with you, I had a friend that kind of helped me out with that and custom built it for me, so it didn't really cost me a ton of money. More so the carbon fiber components are on the back, and then the blacked out grille in the front, and obviously with the wheels are the largest expense probably for this car. So I haven't spent a ton of money to make it look good the way that I want, and to make it sound this way. So I mean, so far I've just been loving the car. Now, a couple things you should know about this car is it does two things really well. It eats gas and it eats tires at an astounding rate. Now I've got my tires cambered a bit in the back because I put a wider tire in there and I wanted them to fit. The car comes stock with a 255 back tire, which I don't really feel is adequate. It was pretty difficult to hook up off the line, so I went with a 285 back tire, which are Nitto Invos, just to add a little more surface area to grip, which they've been performing awesome, and in the rain too. The Nitto Invos, they're a little more on the pricey side, and they don't last long at all. But with that being said, you know, I don't use this car a ton. It is kind of my weekend car, so it's not too bad for me to put out a little bit of money once in a while to have some fun in this thing. So I'm just going to give a quick little launch for you guys. This car doesn't have any kind of special launch control or any kind of launch technology. It's kind of old school that way. It has a sport mode, and then it has, if I hold it down, it goes into ESP off, which takes stability and traction completely off. And you kind of just have to do it the old school manual way, which is feather the gas a bit, but I don't mind. I kind of like it like that. I don't like a bunch of technology taking over. So let's give you guys a quick little launch here. Yeah, this car is still a ton of fun. I love it. Now, given that, I'm probably going to upgrade to the newer version of the C63 twin turbo and give that a try next, but it's pretty tough to beat the instant torque of the naturally aspirated 6.2 liter in this car. Now, obviously, Mercedes and BMW have had this rivalry for a while with the M3 versus the C63 from Mercedes. The E90 M3 is a direct competition to this car, and they're both very comparable cars in the fact that they're high performance and they have a lot of power to put down, but they're two completely different vehicles also. I mean, the BMW is a lot more nimble and on its toes and handles a lot better probably than this car does. In a straight line off the hop, this car puts down a little more horsepower. You know, and so the cars are very comparable in a lot of ways. So I'm going to do actually a review after I do this car and finish doing this car with an M3, just kind of do a full comparison and review on just the E90 M3. And then I'm probably going to take the two cars and do a review at the same time and put the cars head to head and have some fun that way. Now, Mercedes AMG did a really good job with the brakes on this car. The stopping power is really awesome in this car. I'm blown away by it, even more so than I am with the acceleration, which is obviously very important. If you have a car with some decent horsepower, you need to have some decent stopping power. But with that being said, I also find that I get a squeak every once in a while in my right front brake, and it drives me freaking nuts. I know a lot of higher performance vehicles kind of have the same issue, but these aren't even carbon ceramic, so I feel like they should kind of have that problem solved, because I have actually taken the car in a few times just to have the brakes lubed and serviced to get rid of that vibration, but no one seems to be able to do it. Sometimes I just got to give the car a good hard brake and get the brakes a bit hot, and it goes away that way also. And when I wash the car, I tend to spray direct water right into the caliper to try to get rid of that annoying squeak. So guys, that's it. That's my review of the C63 AMG W204 edition. I hope you guys enjoyed the review as much as I like making it. We've got a bunch of cars that are lined up to do reviews on, so please hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see them so you can get the updates on all the new videos that are coming out. I'm Ryan Young, and I'll see you guys next time.